What's up, everyone? This is Danielle over at The Collective Genius, and I'm here with our CEO and founder, Jason Medley. Jason, how are you?
We're doing good, man. It's day 3 here in Scottsdale, Arizona. We've had some beautiful weather, and we've got about 200 plus. This is our CG Premier meeting, which we do every quarter or so, and we've got about 200 plus companies from across the company, and probably a total of 300 plus investors that are here. Just the amount of the caliber, I guess you'd say, of people that are in this organization or in the room, if you will, is pretty staggering. Just tons of good human beings who are doing a ton of real estate deals. Our average member is doing 100 plus flips, or typically has 1,000 plus multifamily doors. We've got capital folks in the room. We've got syndicators. We've got just a plethora of top-notch talent here, and we've been having a great time. We're about to put the wraps on it here, right?
Yes. So this morning we saw a fantastic demonstration of go-giving, which is written in our core values. Can you recap that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm just going to recap the whole day.
All right,
right? Perfect. I actually had to write it down. So there's because we're towards the end of the day, and I wanted to just take a minute and really kind of cover off on what a day looks like at the Collective Genius. And so day 3, we always start out with what we call the Generous Genius. It's really our way of we are an organization, a culture, if you will, that's driven around go-giving, and we believe that with blessing comes responsibility. And everybody is being incredibly blessed right now in this market, and we believe that with that blessing comes responsibility to share with other people around us. And so this morning we kicked off the Generous Genius, which is our philanthropic arm, where we raised $140,000, and we had a couple of our members are actually Ukrainian, and they did a little bit of due diligence on some charities for us, and we're going to be donating $140,000 to Voice of the Children, which is a U.S.-based charity but has operations on the ground in the Ukraine today. And that's just really one of the cool parts of our organization, Generous Genius. It's not just, when you come to CG, it's not just about making money and scaling and more houses and more doors and all that kind of stuff. Our ultimate goal is to really truly help people transform into a better human being when they're here, and that's one of the ways that we do it. And it extends beyond that. We take trips to Mexico and build houses together, or trips to Guatemala and serve orphanages near the landfills and stuff like that. And so that's typically what we do on Wednesday mornings. And then what we do after that is we followed up with what we call our hot seat champs. So yesterday we had our hot seats, where each member of our organization effectively gets up in front of a small group of about 30 other members and shares what are they doing to kill it right now, what a system, a strategy, a resource, et cetera, that they're using in their business to scale, to get better, to make more money, to create better conversion, you name it. And then they switch over to what they need help with, and that's where, based upon whatever objection that they have or challenge they're looking to tackle, or goal they're looking to accomplish, we then strategically and intentionally pair them with other members in the organization that can help them do that. It's very systematic. We write it down, each problem they have, who we're going to pair them with, and then we physically create that connection for them. And so we actually kicked off something new today that we actually haven't done before. So we typically award those belts, the hot seat champ belts, but today we did what was, for the first time, what was called Best of the Belt. And so we picked what we thought was the best of the best hot seat of hot seat winners, and had them present. And that was a gentleman. His name was Mike Watson. He's out of Utah, and he is, I think he's right now, he's got about 32 or 3,600 new construction doors coming out of the ground, in about 27 projects across the country on the multifamily side. Super clean product, affordable housing, really looks modern. I actually invest some with Mike as well, but he did a presentation that really went over what are the 16 things that he changed in his business and in his life after he basically crashed and burned 10 years ago. Very humbling presentation, very keep your feet on the ground presentation, and he really went through and kind of, the market is on fire right now. It's very easy to get to a point where you can take credit for that, very easy to let your ego kind of take charge and take the driver's seat. And the last time this kind of happened, things change pretty quickly. And then you realize maybe you weren't so responsible for it, or maybe some things are out of your control. And so it's just a very good grounding presentation that he gave to everyone in the room to remind us to stay humble and to keep your feet on the ground. And then he was followed by a special guest. Now this guy was such a polished, right? I kind of had speaker envy when McAllister was presenting, or when Alistair was presenting. But we had a gentleman named Alistair McDonald here who came in and gave kind of a historical perspective or recap of how the Fed doesn't dictate rates. They follow the market, right? The changes they make are what follows the market. And he did a comparison of how they changed the rates relative to the T-bills, et cetera, and kind of made a prediction, if you will, of what he thinks is going to happen next. And so really what we talked about was we were at the height of the market. Things are crazy. You know, it's like you get paid for your mistakes in this market. And the reality of it is right now you need to be fighting a battle between safety and aggression, a tug of war almost between the two of those things, which can't be won, right? It needs to be, you need to be incredibly calculated. Don't assume that everything you touch is going to turn to gold. Make sure that you're being intelligent when you're making your buys, because we're obviously in a very volatile time right now. We've been on a 14-year bull run, and now we've got interest rates that are going to start adjusting. And in addition to that, you've got crazy geopolitical challenges with this whole Russia thing. And so you just need to take a more kind of calculated eye with what you're doing and keep your feet on the ground. And you know, we got down to some basics, some brass tacks about something that we constantly, I don't know if it's preach, teach, whatever you want to call it here in CG, which is to make sure that you are building your house to stand during the storm. And the only house that stands during the storm is the house that was built correctly before the storm. And so we are constantly pressing our members. We view it as part of our responsibility here at CG to protect our members, to help protect their businesses, which in turn protects their families. And so, man, I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. And then finally, we're wrapping up right now with a gentleman named Daniel Marcos. He owns the Growth Institute, and he is actually the CEO coach to my entire leadership team. That's Frank Cava, you know, 250 plus transactions out of Richmond, very large portfolio, $100 million portfolio in Richmond. Eric Brewer out of York, PA, he'll probably do 350 turnkey deals this year, large portfolio. Mark Delatour, you know, 175 transactions this year, manages, 700 doors. He's the CEO coach for each of those individuals, and he runs our annual planning as well. And so this guy's a pretty high-level talent, and he's in really talking about what it takes to transition into the CEO seat. Just because you run the business, just because you're the founder, just because you're the guy or the gal that's at the top of the heap, doesn't necessarily translate to that you being a CEO, right? And so he's in there covering off on that right now. And one of the biggest things that he's touching base on is that you can't find the right people until you've become the right person. And so he's talking about how you become the right person to move into and own that CEO seat in your business. So jam-packed day here today. We're going to be wrapping up today, and then we have 2 more days afterwards where about half our crew stays. We just relax, max and relax, call it chill day. There'll be there's 21 people in the morning playing golf together. We're going to have a bunch of other people that play. Probably have about 20 folks that go down and hoop it up. We rented 2 basketball courts all week. So every morning they're hooping it up. There'll be a bunch of folks just hanging out at the pool, having cocktails. Like it's just going to start having some fun, you know? Right. Yeah. Cool. So that's behind the scenes here at CG. Hope everybody's doing well. We love you guys, and that's signing off.